Oh, oh, hello, my sweet. So won't you come with me? There's oh so much to show in this grim dark distillery. And if you want bullshit or want some hobby tips, this nightmare priest night mindberry. Man, I fucked that up. I'm so out of practice. So if you like bullshit or want some hobby tips, this nightmare priest nigh unbinary world magnificent welcomes you. Hello, my sweets. Man, I am out of practice. It has been months. Uh, yeah. So, got a lot of things that I'm going to talk about today for anyone that wants to pop in. Boop, boop, boo. Let's see. So, yeah. Mowgli! Hello. How have you been? It's been so long. It's been so long. I have so many things to talk about and so many things to show and yap and yap and yap. How have you all been? It's been so long. My brain's broken by it. I forgot how to do so many things. I can go ahead and I'll pull. Whoop, that's OBS. There we go. I'll get over here in the little corner. I had a newborn, so I've been busy. Holy shit, Mowgli. Well, congratulations. That's awesome, Mowgli. Congrats. That's wild. You had a whole baby since we've last seen each other. That's crazy. I didn't have any babies. Well, I made a bunch of little babies, but they're not like real babies. I don't have to take care of them or anything. Happy late Valentine's Day, by the way. Happy late Valentine's Day to you too. Oh man, it's real eerily quiet here in my basement. I'm gonna turn something on in the background probably. Like the printers have all fallen silent. Roz! Hi, Roz. How are you? It's been so long. I was just like, man, it's been 2 months. And I was like, no, I was working on Godling for 2 months. So it's actually been like almost 4 months. That's crazy. It's crazy. It's a long time. Yeah. So, bleep, bleep, bleep. I'll zoom in here. So, the day finally has come. There's a lot of things that I was working on that I'm going to have to pick up on later at a different point in time. Good. Prepping for Murdheim event at AdCon. Hell yeah. Man, that sounds awesome. I really would have... I did not get to play any of the Mordheim so far. And I have not gotten a single thing done on that warband since you all last saw me working on it. Since then... It was Godling straight for 2 months, which, if you all would like to see that, I can unbox that like during the stream today. I figured today's stream is mainly just going to be kind of a hang, just because it's been a long time and I needed some hang. I needed to get a lot of my head straight and stuff, but and also, yeah, just recovering from working on Godling. It was the single most intense project I've ever done. And stepping back now and looking at it, it's just like, this was insane. Why did I want to do that? But it's just, I had an opportunity and I really wanted to make sure that I took the most advantage of that to show what I can do to the world. So yeah, I was really, really, really thankful to be included in the people that were part of that art show in Brooklyn. It was wonderful. So yeah, I definitely, we can talk about Godling. I can show Godling. I can show some toys. Today's my birthday. And I still need to read the Wires article interview. Oh, I really enjoyed the interview. The show and tell. The interview that we did at the Airbnb, I really, really, really like it. The funny thing is, like, essentially Eric was just like, it was Eric, Kelly, and I at our Airbnb, and Eric was just like, I think we could just go ahead and, like, maybe you could tell us, oh, thank you. Happy birth. Today is the day I was birthed. Shit. Godling. He was saying, yeah, we were talking about, where my idea of Godling came from, and that kind of course, and this is before we started recording, so that's why I'm mentioning it now. I'm not gonna retell everything that I talk about in the interview, but the things that I said, and then Kelly said, "Good. Now just say everything you just said again after we press record." And you all know me. I don't like to. I constantly am afraid that I'm repeating the same thing. So I did not talk about it at all. I've got to put some kind of sound on in the background. I feel like music will be too loud. But I could be real psychopath and put myself on in the background. I'll put some music on here. Let's see. I just need something, just a little bit. We're listening to maybe not Polo G. Renaissance is always good. Everybody loves Renaissance. That's too loud though. Okay. Yeah, that'll trick me into thinking there's somebody in here. USA Libertarian, and we're back. Ha ha ha. They tried to keep me down, but they can't. You can't lock me away forever. I'm gonna open up Godling's Cage. Which, whoo boy, I have so many funny things to tell you guys about. I have so many thoughts. One, if you're like, hey, I'm gonna make a big thing. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm gonna throw this out here right now. If you're like, I'm gonna get on a plane with anything that isn't a guitar and is bigger than a suitcase, stop fucking thinking about that right now and try to come up with any other idea at all. Because it is so hard. It is so hard to get on a plane with something that doesn't look like a guitar, but isn't a suitcase. And it's insane to me how hard that was. But a lot of funny stories. So let me unbox this Godlin, little wintergreen here. I got the birthday yaps. Keep girdling in the cage. Flyers. Oh yeah, and I'll show this too. I'll show this right now before I get Godling out. So this, I'm gonna turn this down. This is a little bit too loud. Sorry guys. Boop, boop, boop. So this is a picture from my wonderful, wonderful friend Eric Wire. I love his photography. This is one of, I think, his best. The lighting is so, the amount of lighting, like techniques that he had to apply to get this to light where he wanted it to and to put shadow where he wanted it to. It's just, it's very, 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 very impressive. It's so moody. I love it. I really love Eric's photography, and Adam's. I love photography. I'm sure we've talked about that, but my appreciation of photography 100% comes from my friend Alan, who's my absolute oldest friend. He is the one that showed me how to pretty much take those photos that I took of my 1490 Doom stuff. So hopefully we're gonna get some photos of Godling with his setup, because I think that would really be able to show a lot of the ridiculousness of it. I'll just bring this little girdling over here. So I was talking about something. I was talking about, Godling. So yeah, I've talked about it on here. Wire Mini Photography Undefeated. Hi, not really. Welcome. Good to see you. Welcome. And yeah, no, I love the Wire's Mini Photography. Eric's, I'm very thankful and very fortunate enough to have two of his, I think, framed. One is one of the very first ones that he did on the fancy paper. I guess the thing also, there's so much, and I want to talk about that because I love photography for different reasons, but the thing that, like, I capture the way that I see the world in miniature. My friend Alan, like, has, at a very young age, he started to try and capture the world the way that he saw it with a camera. And he became a master of using his digital camera to just do shit that, like, I just don't understand, to where it's just crazy. But then you get into where you can edit the photo. What I love about Eric's photography is Eric is very similar in that he also does the same things, but he does them physically, which I'm not saying that they're two very different ways of doing the same thing. There's a Margot hair. Also, Brooklyn, I seeded you with Margot hair all over, baby. You're going to be covered in Margot's. Yeah, there's some at Selva. There's definitely a Margot spore somewhere at Selva because it was in Godling and I found it and I was like, oh my gosh. Well, there you go. But yeah, as long as no one touches that, a couple of years you'll have a full Margot grown. And then they replicate. They're like kind of like gremlins. Anywho, fuck. I was talking about Eric. So yeah, the amount of things that you have to take into account when you're taking a photograph. Just the little bit that I've learned from Alan on lighting. Lighting is so fucking crazy important for every aspect of it. And with digital photography, you can go in, you can change things, but also there's a big difference between like, oh, I just made this. Like if you can just make it. I've never looked at one of Alan's photos and thought that it was edited. Let me say that. He is truly a master of his work. And I think I see that in Eric's work. I can tell the amount of intention that had to have been put into lighting and into focus, because with Alan's photography, he will take, this picture right here. So we've got, oh fuck, hey, we're out of focus. Sorry guys, not even out of focus. We're not even in the screen. I'll let you look at this. Boop, boop, boop. So when we are trying to take, actually, fuck, I'll just give you an example. When we're trying to like take a picture of this model specifically, we will focus in on different parts. So like, let's say we want the face. So we would want to make that where the absolute point of focus is highlighted, where everything else slowly gets brought back. But then we would take other parts that we want to be in focus and we would choose those. So then we would zoom on like the knee, the chest, but we would have to make sure that we took all the photographs at the same time. Same position. That way we can overlay them and then stack it, figure out all that kind of stuff. So you can do things like that. With physical photography, like you have to do so much prep work before to just take a click. And it's just, from there, you think that it's done. But then with Eric, what I love so much is Eric is not just stopping there. Eric is doing, and it's, one of the things that I think the wires and I absolutely bond over is the pursuit of knowledge and the desire to just constantly learn and get better. But he wants to, develop the film himself, like using real film, learning how to actually use a camera, learning how the film itself works, learning how to deal with the film itself, learning the paper process, learning printing. Like he's learned every step of the physical process of giving me a picture to put on my wall. And it's beautiful in a way that like I don't think a lot of people really appreciate, especially in today's standards. But yeah, no, wire mini photography, undefeated. Love those wires. Speaking of them, they did it. They broke the 7th seal, guys. So, fuck it. We're going to get out the nice lens. I'm not going to make you guys look at this half-assed. I didn't half-ass build it. Just 1 second. Let's show you what Trench Crusade looks like for me. For me. So yeah, Godling. While I'm doing this, while we were there, we were talking about, hey, where did the idea for Godling come from? And the name obviously was, and I'm talking about my piece Godling, not the art show Godling, which they also very much liked the name. So they used it for the concept, which is absolutely on the Godling concept used for the art show is absolutely the same as the initial one that I had for the term. I think the word, transposes really kind of what it means, but it all comes down to Uh, I was thinking about, okay, if I was going to be a god, when working on the world of this wretched inheritance, uh, establishing a god or gods, trying to think about the lore for that, and trying to think about how they would even be created. And so I've talked about it on here. I've got it, written out in the Discord and stuff like that. But I would be a fuck god. Hell yeah, Mowgli, the fourth, the fourth member of the godlings in this wretched inheritance. Wretched inheritance, Mowgli, the fuck god. mm. So, the idea of godlings and the idea of, okay, well, it wouldn't really be a god, but what if you started the world over? Like you just did like a reset on the world. And it's, the concept of this wretched inheritance is 100% my commentary on the future, and it's very, very fucking bleak. But essentially, what is left of the world covered in mega structures, kind of like giant AI warehouse kind of shit, all fully integrated, like a big network essentially, where people have become just meat for the grinder, until the world is reset. But this infrastructure still exists there. So if you have this giant weird parasite that essentially has latched around an organism, and you're trying to bring that back to life, the idea was to, instead of making a single god, I've always found that, I'm 100% a little paranoid of the number 3 for all kinds of reasons. But the Trinity, a Trinity is a good balance. So then the concept of splitting oneself into 3 egos, to balance, because I think that's the logical thing. I think the Council of 3 is a concept that I came up with a long time ago, that it really, if you can triangulate a problem, I think that's great. Now, that would involve having a 4th, because the Council of 3 involves a Council of 3 of your peers. However, I wanted to make sure that it was never a balanced, it could never be a stalemate. 3 ensures that 2 could always fix the other one, if need be. But from that, it was like, okay, well, how do you raise a god? How do you teach a god how to be good? And that was just more of an inner, the whole thing is very deep dive into my own thoughts, and myself, and people, my thoughts on people, that kind of stuff. And the concept came up thinking about, I was just thinking like, man, I couldn't make the gods that I would make, of course, it's like, yeah, they would be very similar to what I make. So a lot of their personalities are 100% based off of our cats. A triangle inverted is feminine and an upright triangle is masculine, so I like the law. That's great. I did not know that, Mowgli. That's wonderful. Wonderful knowledge. Yeah, the world, literally everything is triangles, and I just have to try to not think about it all the time because it would just drive me crazy. But yeah, trigonometry is fucking rad as hell. Fuck calculus, though. I stand firm on that. Anywho, and it got me to thinking about our cats and how our cats have very set personalities that really, I think, show who Kelly and I are. They're we treat them like they're our kids, so they very much are a little furry reflection of ourselves, I think, and a product of their environment. And that's really the whole thing, is everything is a product of its environment. So that got me thinking, and it of course made me think about my wonderful wife. My wonderful wife, Kelly, who is just the kindest person I've ever met, most caring, and she grew up raising, if you can think of a weird fucking animal that lives in our continent, my wife might have grown up having that just in her house, like thinking that was normal. And I love that. It's beautiful, because like there's so many animals that, like, they're not bad, I mean, no animal's bad, but they just are what they are. So many animals that I'm like, man, I'm not a fan of those, that she's utterly changed my mind about, because she's like, yeah, no, they're super sweet. Like, you just have to understand them. And it's just like, they're just not really my thing. But then it's just like, okay. But yeah, like the amount of times apparently growing up that I've talked about the raccoons. The raccoons. Kelly had a couple of raccoons growing up. Her mom, so the whole reason that this happens, she never had an armadillo. Um, did not have an armadillo. And I can't stress, like, it's fucking weird. Like, the most amazing one is the deer. So, like, they live out in the country. Her mom runs the animal hospital here. That's where all this comes in. It's not that her family's just insane. Her mom runs the animal hospital here, and for the longest time was like, and still is, yeah, no, like my wife 100% has the like Pokemon mindset of gotta catch them all, gotta touch all the animals. Hey y'all, good to see you. Hi, USA Libertarian. Great to see you. No, great to have you here. So she really has just this ultimate caring like mindset and personality, and her mom absolutely is like where that comes from. Wonderful, wonderful woman. But she was telling me about raising a duckling, and I was that the whole thing just like captivated me. That's the one. So that raccoons and possums, I still stand very firm. I will never have a pet raccoon. I will never have a pet raccoon because it's kind of like wishing that Theodore, who I love, you all know I love, he is my son. If he had thumbs, I would be in prison. Like, and that's like, if he had thumbs, he would get out and he would just do stuff because he has no, he's never been told no. And that's it. Like a raccoon, it's just like, man, if you give something the ability to do basic mechanics, like they are smart. They're very smart. And I don't want that in my life. It's too much. It's too much intentional chaos added. And then also Kelly was just like, well, wouldn't it be so cute to come home and like see Theo getting rubs on the couch from like a big silly raccoon? I was like, that's good until we come home and that like raccoon is force feeding our son, like because he just likes to feed Theo now, like so he just like eat the food, and that lived in my head for a while, and I was like, yeah, so never a raccoon. But possums, I used to really not like possums, but now I love possums for obvious reasons, but also the animals. I learned a lot from my wife about possums. They're very, very interesting, and I do like them a lot now. And rats. As Mowgli, my wife loves rats. I like them. I don't want one. I don't want to play with one. But when we domesticated raccoons, one generation we have raccoon. Oh yeah, I can't stress enough. Like, we seriously are like that. That like rocket raccoon. That's in our lifetime. That we could have that now. If you want that now, we could have that now. He's not a raccoon live. Is he not? I don't know. I haven't seen the second one. Or the third. Is it the third? I don't know. The one that has a lot of his backstory. I haven't seen that one. I know it's really sad, and I've been working on preparing for that. Also, man, if you guys need something to bleach your soul. Okay, I assumed he was an alien. If you need something to bleach your soul, man, Free Run. If you like anime, even if you don't like anime, watch Free Run. Beyond Journey's End. It's like every episode, like, touches my like part of my like soul that's just like and it's just like fuck, it's all feel good. Correction, if the overlords wanted wreck. Yes, yeah, that's it. Like, we're gonna get Megatron before, like Megatron or a Gundam, a racist Gundam. Let's see. But yeah, I was thinking about the concept of ducklings and the amount of work that you have to do to raise a duckling if it is imprinted on you. Yep, IRL Evis. Or Avis, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Evangelion. It's like I was a ventriloquist there, except I didn't say anything. Fuck, I knocked a bunch of stuff off. Anywho, it's been a while. But yeah, ducklings. So apparently there's a lot of stuff that goes into duckling raising because they imprint on you and you're not a duck. So you have to teach them how to be a duck as a person. And that really, really resonated with me because it's like the concept of I want to make a god. But I'm very firm in the belief that all gods are man-made. So duck mating is sad. They drown the female sometimes. Duck mating, I know a lot. I know way more than I want to about duck mating. And if you're ever like, man, I'm feeling really good and I just want something upsetting to learn about that I don't know about, that's waiting for you. At any time, you can just get the most upset that you want to for a while very quickly. Just look into ducks, how their anatomy works and how their species exists, because it's fascinating in a horrifying, bizarre way. That's just like, that's the plan. Anywho, so I was just like, okay, well, how would you raise a god as a human? Because you're not a god. And it's just the same kind of concept of you would have to tell it what it needs to be to do good for itself. And it's like raising a duckling. And then just a duckling in general, like when you think of a duckling, you think of a little goofball that doesn't know anything. And that's kind of where the term godling came from. So that's what I said before the interview started. And that's the end of that. Holy shit. Okay, scientifically accurate DuckTales. I hate that so much, Ross. That is like 4 words that really upset me, like because of the mental, like it's just, okay, I love DuckTales. I don't like any of that. And as a plus, I watched the nature talk, cried my eyes out. The baby deer didn't make it. Oh, well, if it makes you feel better, that was another thing. Kelly was just used to deer just walking in her house because they would leave the back door open a lot. So old dorkly vid, that's how I learned duck facts. Hell yeah. I don't remember where I learned most of my nightmare duck facts. I think it was probably, as everything, one too many turns down a path on the internet where you're just like, oh, that's interesting. Click. That's interesting too. Click. This is interesting, but I wish I hadn't read it. But yeah. Shit. No, yeah, Kelly's family, like deer, they would raise baby deer. So years later, when a full-grown deer is just in your house because you raised it, and it's just like, hi, family. Because they have a lot of dogs, so they live out in the country. They would just leave the door open. So the animals, and I loved that. I love that. The raccoon is the funniest to me because like he would come in the house dead ass. He would come in the house dead ass. He would come in the house and he would go to the dog food, and he would open the dog food because again they have thumbs. He would open the dog food and he would grab a bunch of dog food and he'd fill his arms up with it. And apparently, like, Kelly just has a memory. She was like, I have a memory of us sitting at the table eating. And he comes in the house, opens the door, opens the dog food. My mom's like, what are you doing? Get out of here. Grabs like 2 armfuls and then just goes and scurries out of the house again. And Kelly's just like, and that's just a mental image that I just grew up thinking that was a thing. Like that happens. That happens sometimes, you know, raccoons come in your house, steal a bunch of dog food and just run out. Yeah, so this, I guess I could show you this a little bit. This is my first Trench Crusade commission for the wires. It's the first model for Trench Crusade that I've really worked on. There we go. Let's get down here. Why am I picking this thing up? We have technology, Eli. My bad. Animation domination, high definition dropped in the disco. All right, I will check that out. I'm gonna. So I'm really happy with this. I I did not 100. So the feet, the hands. There's a frame essentially underneath of all this that I sculpted on. Other than that, yeah, could absolutely cast it, because it is 100% me. This is for the Wire Brothers. They have commissioned a Trench Pilgrim warband from me, which I have been, for those of you, that looks fucking insane. Thank you, Roz. I am really happy with it. We're almost done, and I'll start painting. I can't wait to show you the hammer and the shield. Also, I have so many things to tell you about. I'm so excited. As you all know, Trench Crusade is one of those things that, much like my wife, when I first found it, I was extremely suspicious, because things normally in life don't really fit me perfectly, like without a lot of catches. So I have a tendency to like not trust things. In Trench Crusade, Trench Crusade, much like my wife, I cannot stress enough. It's not the first time that I have referred to my wife, and trenches were involved. The most memorable one was at a at a wedding, at my buddy Ed's wedding. Eddie, yeah, we call him Eddie sometimes. My buddy Ed's wedding. I was talking to my friend Chris and his wife Joey, and she was like, "Oh man, do you look at anatomy books, or is it just feel? The muscle structure looks insanely detailed." So yeah, I love nature, and I have a lot of anatomical like references. So I looked a lot at actual anatomy, and I tried to. There's a whole. I'll get into explaining what this monstrosity is. I'm gonna step away real quick, and try to collect my thoughts. What was I thinking? Oh, Ed. Oh yeah, Joey. Joey was talking about dancing. She was like, "Man, God, I love dancing." She's like, "Your wife is just tearing it up in there," and I was just like, "Oh yeah, no, I can't stress this enough. At any point in time, if you look and my wife is not dancing, it's just because she's like, got to do something else. She has to do something else right now. Like, this is it's not even a thing for her. Like, she's not trying to be the one that dances the most. Like, if dancing at weddings was a war, my wife was born in the trenches of Verdun, is what I told Joey, to make her understand that it was just like, she does not get tired. It's a war of attrition when it comes to the dance floor at weddings, and my wife was born in the trenches. I think that's the direct quote that I said, because she just loves to dance. She just loves dancing. I'm not a big dancer in public. I like dancing, being silly in my house. That's not true. I dance all the time in public. I dance like a weirdo though, like when no one else is supposed to be dancing. I don't know. Maybe it's that. I don't know. Yeah. So, the commission for the wires. Let's talk about that. Dancing is the trenches. Now I get it. Oh, no. You're good. No worries, Mowgli. So, let's see. Come on now. What are you doing? Gotta tighten this up. If I'm walking a trench and turn the corner and see some lady dancing covered in blood, I'm leaving. Self-delete button. Oh yeah, just I believe they call that stimming. I believe you're right, Ross. I'm trying to make my kid like that, carefree, energetic. There's a video. I want to say it's Adam, Uncle Adam. What is his channel? It's not Mini Wargaming. That's Mini Wargame Dave. It's got the M. Shit. I'd have to look. But Uncle Adam, he had a video. The point that he talks about sun rot. Tabletop Minions. There we go. Tabletop Minions. Thank you, Roz. Minions. That's the M. Love Adam. Always enjoy talking to him and chatting. But when he was over there, they were filming the Sunrot game, and it's just so funny. Just you see them panning, and you just see Johnny, just like, and then you just see me, and I'm just like, yep, that's me. The one in the Jane Doe shirt stimming real hard, that's me. I'm that goofball. I love gaming with my friends. Gives me little dances. And Tony. Love Tony. Tony Black. So yeah, this is supposed to be a the stipulations that were given to me tonight. We steal the moon. Same thing we try to do every night. The stipulations that were given to me were, we want to see your version of Trench Crusade. The Wires have, I think they probably got the most grandpawing, and by grandpawing I mean whenever I just kind of, without warning, derail into a rant about World War One. They got a lot of that around the time Battlefield 1 came out, because I was just so pumped about the amount of things that they included. And again, I'm not talking about like, oh, they included these things like gameplay. I'm talking like codexes. Like you could, throughout the game, you could learn, you could, more upgrades and experience you gain, you would unlock different things. And a lot of them were really cool actual facts and information about World War One. And I cannot stress this enough to their credit. They had some that I did not already know. And that fucking gets me stoked. If you can tell me something about World War One that I don't know, I'll love you forever. Which the one that's probably the biggest to my discredit is the Zone Rouge, but that's not really mine. It's an American thing. We don't know about that. It's not important to us. But the Zone Rouge, I was fortunate enough to learn about that from a gentleman, a Frenchman who was born in it, and is like right on the line of like, yep, that's the town that like they got fucked. So I love when anyone can tell me something that I don't know about a subject that I'm fascinated by. But yeah, so World War One is absolutely my jam. The Wire said that we want, and being a blasphemous little shit has also always been my jam. So Trench Crusade absolutely checks all the boxes for me, and then you just throw in the fact that, oh, the rules are made by one of my favorite game designers of all time, and they finally made rules that I can finally justify making trenches. Like, I've wanted to make a trench board and trench terrain since I was like a kid. Like when I learned about World War One, I was like, oh my god, this is nightmarish. But there's not been a single game that I've ever played that movement and anything was thought that the game focused in a way that made the trenches worth putting the time into, worth having, and being enjoyable. And just God, the way that the game plays, it finally is there. So for those of you who do not know, I started pretty much in March printing terrain for a Trench Crusade board. The board in total could be laid out to cover the back chunk of my backyard, which is about 40 by 60. And the idea is to take this monstrous map, cartograph it out, and then use it as a very large-scale campaign map, a living map that, the terrain ages. It's something that, like, I really want to do because I love making all this stuff, and it's just like I could never get tired of making anything in this setting because it's just all the things that I constantly just want to make anyway. The Wires know all this about me, and they were like, we want to see what you would make for Trench Crusade, whatever. We want a Trench Pilgrim list. It's what you want, though. So pretty much I had a full choice. The very first thing that I wanted to make was a communicant. The communicant lore is one of my favorite, and that is someone that has consumed the flesh of a Metachrist, and they have swollen to giant proportions. Their wounds heal, which if you've watched the stream or are familiar with my work, regeneration is a thing that I am very opinionated on, because it is a real thing. There are animals out there that have them and have it, and the number one that I love the most is the beta. So I love having creative control. I find it hard to follow guidelines. Oh yeah, no, I like I like one or the other. I either want you to tell me exactly what you want, or I want Jesus Borgar. Yeah, exactly. Um, or I want free reign. Both are are really really good. I do like having. I like stipulations, just to like it like makes my brain like kind of tick a little bit hard. I'm like, ooh, I have to do this to make sure this works. Um, but yeah, so I had pretty much free reign. Communicants, once they eat the flesh of a Metachrist, they pretty much become these monsters that just are almost impossible to kill. They take these giant crosses and hammer them into their faces through their eyes, because now by consuming the flesh of this Metachrist, they see better without eyes. They see better blind, see clearer. So you now have this giant hulking Jesus monster, just stomping through the trenches. After the communicant, the second thing that I wanted to make the most for the Trench Pilgrims were the the stigmatic nuns. Stigmatic nuns are a holy order of nuns that have been blessed. It's like Daredevil. Exactly, yeah. So that's a very big, the Daredevil concept is a very big, like, I think blinding and ritual blinding has always been a very religious thing. But with the Trench Pilgrims, that definitely is a key part. With the communicants also, so the stigmatic nuns, they take on them miraculously. They are blessed with stigmatic wounds matching the third Metachrist. Now, this is where I really enjoy certain things. Also, a little bit of, if you're here, you know it's a little NSFW because of everything. But so this is a stigmatic nun. So this is Mike's art of a stigmatic nun. They go into battle almost naked, and that's because they venerate the third Metachrist, who essentially, from what I can pick up from the lore blurbs, which is just nigh unkillable, but looking at the art, the helmet covers the face, so we don't really get to see what wounds the third Metachrist had. From what I can tell, it looks like stigmata in the hands, and then probably the eyes, the nose. Like, I think probably bleeding from the rest, like all the orifices, like in the face, because of the blood coming out of the helmet. That or eyes only would make sense, but I think it's all of it just because of the sheer amount of blood. That was my guess. So with that in mind, I tried to think about what would happen if a stigmatic nun ate the flesh of a Metachrist and got... So we have this nightmare nun that runs around naked, loves getting, cut because it makes them feel closer to their savior, and turns them into an avatar of their lord. If they eat the flesh of a Metachrist and turn into an awful monster, then of course, crown of thorns. So yeah, there's not going to be a crown of thorns on here. We're going to have crowns of thorns in the warband for certain. But this one, I still have to add hair, and I still have to add just a little fabric, and then we're on to texturing, and then she's done probably. But so yeah, she's very, very, very muscular. I wanted to make sure that her muscles looked realistic, but also like I wanted her to have more in common with a horse, embedded like the thorns grew into the head. Yes, and that is very much. Let me zoom in here. We gotta zoom out just a little bit. So I wanted to show that the regeneration ability. So she only has one breast because she has taken a very large wound in the chest that is in the process of healing. The skin has fused around the chain that was broke when she was hit. So both parts of the chain, I'm just going to zoom out right here. That looks good. That will keep her in focus. both parts of the chain are now on the model, growing into the flesh, along with a bunch of other parts of metal. Her shoulder guard has been blown open by the blast, causing embedded fragments. My favorites are probably the ones in her head. The side of her head has a bunch of fragments of metal. I also, this is the one that I made. These are teeth made from actual bones. I did that on one of the streams a while back, I think, or it might have even been something I did before. But yeah, I worked on the base of this a hot minute and then kind of abandoned it. But yeah, there's the nail. I wanted to make sure that you could tell that when this nail was hammered into her face, it was in her chin. Let me see, is there any way that I can zoom in any closer on that? Yeah, so you can kind of see it right there. That's the split. That's where the nail was. That is right here in her mouth, where it was hammered in. When she opened her mouth to roar or speak the words of God, it split the chin, so her mouth is like kind of open with like the nail in there in the middle. All the little beads, they are very colorful right now. They will not be, which was something when I showed this to Shankly. He was like, "Oh my gosh, it looks so fun, but I know it's going to look horrible." And she's like, "Yeah, they're going to look very much like tumors, because with regeneration comes uncontrolled growth. That's what regeneration is. Regeneration is the ability to grow cells back. You don't get that willy-nilly. So like, no animal has that ability to grow back perfectly and not be able to tell. And while yes, like lizards, things can replicate parts of their body, it's not the same. You can tell that there was a wound, but to take that further, not natural regeneration. Yeah, exactly. It's cancer. So by its thing. So I tried to pretty much make sure that she still looked feminine, but I wanted her muscles to be more akin to like a horse. Metastasis of Metachrist. Yes, exactly. Her little pauldrons, the armor I made. Oh yeah, I got to show you the boots. You guys are gonna like the boots. So these little pauldrons, they're little armor, all made with brass, and then styrene was used for the edges, and then I kind of trimmed that up a little bit with green stuff. And I'm talking about these parts. And these are bones. These are from the owl pellets that I've been harvesting for years. So lots of bones tied. These are going to be tied again. We have some fabric. This is the first model I've sculpted anatomically correct. First booby. The chains, I'm happy with them. The boots are insane. Yeah, they do sort of look like Pope hats. How many wounds to just have a walking tumor? Oh, I think out the gate, I think the moment you become a Metachrist, I think technically you are just a walking tumor. So the shoes, I'm really happy with them. They are absolutely extra as fuck, but they really are going to sell it. So I was thinking about Jesus sandals, You're like, Jesus sandals. Jesus did a lot of walking. He walked a lot of miles, from what they say. He didn't walk any trenches, though. Trenches have a lot of mud. Jesus sandals wouldn't work in the mud. But what if you already love pain and your body just constantly heals itself? What if you could just hammer a bunch of giant fucking nails through your feet to make cleats? Yay! Now Jesus sandals are for trenches. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. They're pretty, ridiculous. It's a piece of wood, actual little nails that I hammered in. And they also are showing on the top because I want it to be very clear that these are hammered through the entire foot. The foot has healed around them, and that is what they are using to stomp their way through these trenches. The box, I'm happy with the box. What's in the box? Whoa, well, of course it's blessed promethium. God wants fire and explosions. So I made this little box. little backpack box. Inside of there is a canister that I made out of the cap of a old Zebra, like 0.7, like plastic mechanical. It's not the nicer. It's a Nezeko. I don't know what that is, but I like that word. I like something hiding in there. They'll jump out. Is that a Pokemon? It sounds like it would be a Pokemon. It sounds like it would be a Pokemon that looks kind of like a frog. Maybe. Or kind of like a cat. Anyway, but yeah, that was made from like a pin cap and a piece of styrene, a round piece of styrene, like a little half ball. I believe that's how her name is spelled from the Demon Slayer. Oh, okay. I'm not familiar. He keeps his sister in a box because she's... Oh, okay. Yeah, now I know what you're talking about. I have not seen it. It's on my list, though. And yeah, I'm all about that. That is the model that would become Kelly's Brute. The one that's going like this. Originally, he was made for a event in Finland called Outguard, which was on an abandoned old world lost to time, essentially. And that was the first iteration of my sweet little fluffy babies that I tried to make in miniature. Was the three of them. The largest one was Theo, and he had a backpack very similar to this. I think it's still on there. Yeah, I think I kept the backpack. But Margot, the Margot version was in there, and she was a psyker. But yeah, so I'm really happy with the cleats. This is actually the back of an earring. Kelly gave me a bunch of these because she can't wear certain metals. But this is where the line is going to run to the hammer. So yeah, there's her butt, which I will say, that was another bit that I was like, yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. So those of you who have heard my Natalie Dormer story of realizing, yeah, when you look at someone's head for a very, very, very long time on end, eventually like, oh, they're kind of attractive. I can say that's not the case. It's not you just keep looking at something, eventually you'll find it attractive. That's not the case, because I got to tell you, I looked at a lot of pictures to try and get anatomy right. And the majority of them that I looked at anatomical, like actual muscle structure. And then I looked at people that are not anatomically correct at this point because they have so much muscle. Like bodybuilders that have done so much that like we're past that point. And I'm not going to show the picture because I'm not going to put her on blast. But there's a girl that apparently the internet, like the world lost their mind because they were just like, apparently her butt is disproportionately muscled, like in a, like the proportions are so, she has so much muscle in her butt. And it's very much, it looks like the closest thing is like a horse. Like, and that's exactly what I was trying to look for, which like no softness. You're like the part of like on your body where like you expect that to be somewhat soft at some point in time because of relaxation of muscles, fat storage, just none, just pure muscle. And it just is very upsetting to me. Eagle time. What are you going to do with all that ass? Stomp, stomp, stomp through the trenches. But yeah, it's 8:57. So yeah, that's my conversation. But yeah, she's like a bodybuilder. Super athlete. I'm not dunking on it. It's more of just like, God, that's so much muscle. It's too much muscle for me. I can't. It would feel like your skin was constantly splitting, like you're trying to. That's what I feel like it would be, like wearing way too tight pajamas. I don't know why specifically pajamas, but I guess probably because I often associate being like, God, these lean beef patty. Lean beef patty. Yeah, I guess that's the concept. You're right. That's a weird way to think about it. That's a weird way to think about it. I'm gonna step over here real quick. I also have to pee. Man, we haven't done this in so long. It's been so great talking though. I can't stress enough. When Kelly is not home, I am silent in the basement, talking either to myself alone, which I try not to do, or the babies. Um, Speaking of babies, hey Theo. But yeah, I'm just gonna step over here real quick. But yeah, I am so excited. I feel like I finally have been released onto the world of Trench Crusade. Uh, so before I take a little bathroom break, I'll show you a few other things. So I've got to tie ropes around here, add the fabric, a couple of small more details. Thank you, Adam. Hi, Adam. Welcome. Patty is an actual bodybuilder, influence Instagram model. Not sure what. Oh man, no. So I pretty much, I typed in muscular butt on Google Images. That's it. I just typed in muscular butt, like anything that I was like, what body part am I looking for that I want to see how the muscles are? And then I looked at, so initially I looked at drawings. So I know how, okay, this is supposedly, if you like open somebody up, you won't be surprised because it's going to look kind of like this. And then I looked at a bunch of actual people to see how variation, you know, like, okay, what is normal variation in those muscles? Like, where could they be? And then I moved to, okay, well, what about people that have way too much muscle and they can't do like, I think I've talked, I know I've talked a couple times about Resident Evil 5. The first time I played it, Chris Redfield, I was like, nobody looks like that, Colby, because my buddy Colby cannot do this. Can't do this. He can't even do this. Like, he's got about here. That's as far as he can go. I typed in muscular butt for reference. Sure you did. I'm going to look at that real quick. That's the first thing I've got, man, is the... I don't know what you're getting for muscular butt. Oh, no, you're just quoting me. No, I can't stress enough. This model is the opposite of anything I want in attractiveness. And that was the goal. The first two models, like I want to show female representation, very female representation, minorities, anyone that is not white guy. I really like to try and show that in miniatures because I want everyone to feel welcome, and it is such a diverse like environment. So there's going to be so many variations, and I think it's just important to make sure to do accurate representations. But yeah, so with the idea of the stigmatic nuns, they're very easily going to fall into a lot of pinup models, like pinup model style, despite the fact that that is nothing like they are in the lore. They're horrifying. Like, and one of the things, especially with this, that Kelly and I have been saying, as you know, we're big fans here at the Grimdark Distillery. Thank you, Possum. Hi, Possum. Hello, my sweets. It's been so long. It's so great to have you guys. But yeah, also, what's with this whack-ass 6 a.m. start? That's not 5. Wait, what? Did I started at 8, but that would be... I believe that's the critique of the TC art. Oh yeah. So, and that's I don't understand. I thought, isn't this the normal time I start? My brain is broken right now. Did time change? I mean, time changed at some point, but yeah, that's it. I don't want anything. I can't stress enough. If Trench Crusade, they're like, okay, it's a naked. We're done. From there, okay, naked. Not sexy, scary. You usually start an hour earlier. Do I really? At 7? Huh. Might be a daylight I think it's a daylight savings issue because I was starting at the same time. Do you guys do daylight savings in California, Possum? This is about to break my mind. It's 9 o'clock here. That's crazy. This is crazy. Also, I gotta pee. I'm gonna go pee because otherwise I'm gonna just keep yapping. But before I go pee, I will show you the arms. So, and then we'll talk about them. Y'all not do it in Kentucky? We did it in Indiana. Yeah, no, we do. Like it's 903 here. So this is the trench shield, and I will show a little bit more of that. And here's the hammer. So, did you just start? No, I started like an hour ago. Yeah, I've been going for an hour. I'm about to go pee. Or did it not show me an hour ago? Yeah, I guess it just didn't notify you. Yeah, I started an hour ago. Yeah, an hour and like 4 minutes. But yeah, here's the hammer and there's the shield. And I'll show these. Boo. I'm sorry, Possum. Damn YouTube. I'm gonna go pee and I'll be right back. Be right back. It's been a while since I got to do that. And we're back. Okay, so beep boop bop. The shield. We'll talk about the shield for a little bit. I wanted it to be very clear that there was somebody in here. So a big trench shield. I wanted it to be. The idea was some form of saint or martyr, somebody that is, you know, pretty much just kind of in there with their arms kind of spread in the classic Jesus pose, just saying prayers and stuff, kind of chained inside this shield. And then because it's Trench Crusade, I wanted them to have definitely been obliterated and are just kind of held in place now. There's going to be lots of barbed wire kind of wrapped in place, holding it, all the stuff kind of on there as it runs forward, kind of like that. And then the hammer, I'm really happy with the hammer. So the hammer is based off of Mike's. I'm going to turn Polyphia down just a smidgen. Come on, boys. Can't hear myself. Let me find that hammer. Also, I know I need to update the picture for the distillery. There it is. So here's the hammer that Mike drew for the art. When you pull the lever, it ignites this, causing a little rocket propeller, so this slams down with a lot more force. My hammer is based on that design. Of course, you know, we've got the trigger mechanism, which is made out of watch parts. All these little smaller hoses and tubes were made with Albion alloys. That is, I think, a watch part, 2 watch parts that I had to cut and flip to make the handguard. And then the head is made from a louver locking, louver, L-O-U-V-R-E, louver locking syringe. So essentially I have a bunch of those from aquarium stuff. I love aquariums, nature, again, God complex, love to make perfect little habitats. So that often involves dosing. So you have to dose nutrients, vitamins, that kind of stuff into the water column. So I have a lot of syringe ends. Unfortunately, I had a bunch that were small because the ones that I typically use have like an 8-inch needle because they have to reach down all the way into a bottle sometimes versus, or like a big gallon jug. I buy big jugs. And then also so I can go deeper into the tank. But anyway, that's what the base is. And then we have a piece of brass tubing fitted around inside there. There is actually, I wanted to make sure there was a firing pin and a piston. How this works, essentially you would pull this lever, the Promethium from the backpack falls into here to power essentially this hammer is it's based on a mix between Mike's design and I think the flint hammer from Bloodborne, which you pretty much like you prime it, and then once it's primed then it explodes. So this has to be primed every time if you actually want it actually to do anything anti-tank wise. It's still just a big fucking hammer you could hit people with. But I wanted it to have lots of awful nails to puncture. But I also wanted to make sure that the piston in there, once this lever is pulled, the lever has not been pulled, so it's not going to be primed. But there's a little hole in there made from inside of a vape. I cleared out, I finally went through all these old vapes and harvested their parts. There's a couple of parts that are worth stealing. And I don't have any on my desk right now other than that one. Let me see if I can grab one. Here they are, right? Yeah. So these are actually really easy to get to, and are one of the few things that are actually worth the salvaging inside of there. So at the bottom of a vape cartridge, there's this little guy. And if you pull that out, They look like this. And that is a very cool little bit that can be very good for hyper detailing. That's not blood, it is resin dye, just so you guys know. I didn't cut myself. That shit is on certain things and it will be on them forever. Because it does not come off. So that is what is inside that hammer. And then inside of that, I fed a very small metal. It almost looks like a nail, but it's not very big. It just has a little flat head, and that's what the firing pin is. I don't vape, so I have to resist the urge to pick them up in parking lots. Oh yeah, no. If you have friends who vape, they'd love to. They would love to be like, oh yeah, because it feels bad. Like they feel bad throwing it away because like I'm killing the planet. So if you're like, hey dude, just throw those in like a gallon baggie. That's what I did. These aren't all mine. Like I might be dead if I used all the vapes that I have. But yeah, the majority of them are friends, and I've got again my buddy Grant works at the brewery, but they again have been, because they feel bad throwing stuff out. He and his partner have been saving vapes in their household. Like, oh yeah, man, if your vape dies in the house, throw it in the. They have a Rubbermaid just full of them. He's like, if you want them, they're all yours. And I'm just like, I mean, I'll use the stuff. I'd rather it go, if I can use it, then I'd rather it, come to me than go into a landfill. But there are some parts that I think definitely can be used for scratch building, but there's definitely a lot of parts that you just have to throw away. The best vape part is actually from a coil. It is my favorite part, but it is from inside the coil. Not a disposable vape. A disposable vape won't have them, I don't think. It would have to be like if you have a mod. I think they're called mods. But that is where this, I'll grab one that isn't attached. That's where this mesh comes from. They are in here. Yeah, this is my favorite piece. So, and one of these is clearly from an unused one. Look at that. Yeah, so this is just a really cool little piece of metal that can be used for all kinds of things. But I used it around this hammerhead. And my thinking is there is definitely going to be some kind of heat shroud or something along those lines, similar to what would be found on like a shotgun, from like, World War I. A lot of trench brooms had heat shrouds on them. A lot of weird things had heat shrouds on them because, again, we were figuring out how guns work, or how to make guns crazy. But yeah, so that's pretty much the first commission for Trench Crusade. I'm really, really happy with it. After that, while not working on the commission but still in Trench Crusade land, I've been making terrain, which, we're going to need a lot of terrain. And if you want lots of little crosses, I'm a firm believer there's only one way to go about doing it. So I did what any logical person did, and I just started making lots of crosses. And then I thought, well, I already know how many I have to make for the entire board. I've got 100 something made already. As far as other little crosses, those are the big little crosses that I made. These are the small little crosses that I made, and these go on the communicant. So essentially these are going to be hanging off of her, hammered into her skin, but they are very small little brass crosses that I made and tied. And I've got a good amount of them. I've been making lots of little crosses. Lots of little crosses. Tangent, someone needs to make a TC AMV to King of Carrot Flowers. What's the AMV? King of Carrot Flowers. What is King of Carrot Flowers? Also, I just saw a muscular butt when I opened my phone. Oh, Neutral Milk Hotel. Oh, yeah. Hmm. 20 to make a TCAMP. I like that. I will have to look more into that. But yeah, so I just made lots of crosses. Been doing a lot of that. There's going to be a whole bunch of them because I really like the idea. This is just a very, I mean, initially I was sticking them in there to just hold them. But just a mountain of crosses and then working on other terrain for no man's land. And again, I want to go into more detail of those and stuff like that, and I probably will once they're closer to being done. I want to start streaming again regularly, not just today. I do think that I'm not going to do every day because it's just too much. But I really think that like 2 days a week is something that I would like to do, and that can give me time to do commissions and other things to actually get income coming in, as well as work on video editing, that kind of stuff. I do want to get to that, but I just need to be able to have income. So I have to adjust where things align. What else do I have to show you guys? I guess we can get into godling. I'm gonna have to figure out something with this camera. But how about a bear bearing a cross? So that absolutely is. Are there bears? Are there bears canonically already? Because I feel like there's got to be. If there's not a Soviet or like a Red Army faction in Trench Crusade already that has a bear, there needs to be, because that absolutely makes sense. Someone's got to have already made one, I think. Right? There's not a Soviet. What? There's also not French. Like, that's the thing. Like, I know Westphalia did some heads that I picked up for New Antioch that are based on the French, because I love the French. Daka made New Antioch proxies. Gotcha. The Red Army was by Westphalia on my mini factory and Kickstarter. I like those sculpts a lot. But they made some French helmets. But other than that, I have not seen anything French either. Man. Okay, Daka did make New Antioch proxies. Okay, that were Soviet. They're not Soviet? Maybe not Soviet. I thought they were a Red Army. Oh, but probably not rules. I got it. They're not rules. Just pseudo-Soviet. Gotcha. So it's just like play New Antioch, but you can use these models for them. Gotcha. Yeah, no, someone needs to make a bear. And that's absolutely, they just posted one for the other day. A couple things. One, they posted the miniature designer. I did apply. I did not get it. I'm sorry, my sweets. They are looking for a digital sculptor, not a physical sculptor. So that's a bummer. But with the license, the community license, the likelihood of being able to make things Trench Crusade related and support myself is pretty high. I just have to make sure that I understand fully what I am and am not allowed to do. But we've been discussing myself with the wires while working on this, the idea of casting. Ramshackle is another person that has talked to me about casting things that I sculpt. So that's absolutely something that I'm looking into in the very, 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 very short future. I really want to make sure that I don't do anything that isn't okay. Like, I don't think I am, but the biggest thing that I want to do is honestly make lore, make rules, make new stuff for Trench Crusade, because there's so many parts of the lore that are open for the little things to be added into, and I have just so many ideas. I just can't stop thinking about them. The seventh seal's been opened, and here we are. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with the Trench Crusade stuff so far that I've come up with. The next up is going to be either a Stigmatic Nun or the War Prophet, who's the leader, but I'm leaning toward the Stigmatic Nun. As far as I know, the line is just don't copy our art. And that, yeah, like, I know that they said that it was mainly about miniature project. Oh, so I was looking at the thing that I was wanting the most, I guess, is the compatible with. I would, if more than anything, I would like to do an actual collaboration, um, like a little, almost an expansion, um, of just not an expansion, but almost like a campaign book, similar to like the Fall of Rothenburg or uh, shit, I don't remember the other one from 1490 Doom, but like a hey, here's some more little lore about a very specific thing. Doesn't actually touch the rest of the Trench Crusade stuff, but it could be new stuff that I've come up with new faction, like a new faction variant of each of the different war bands, and then just additional rules, that kind of stuff for that kind of a commission. Not kind of commission, but for a campaign. I really want to make the monster map that I have been working on. I want to turn that into a actual part of Trench Crusade. And I cannot stress enough, like, not a single bit of it half-assed. Like, again, I'm going to the trouble to make 666 small wooden crosses by hand. In my opinion, that's their competitive advantage, to capture the kit bashing and open sourcing the lore that GW is going away from. Yeah, I think so too. And I think, I don't know, I was really down about it at first, just because it's something that I'm so just like, oh my God, just let me make something. I haven't let myself do it because I knew that once I did, I was going to fall down that hole, and it's just going to be so hard to want to make anything else. Because this is just so much my vibe. But talking with Eric was just like, I think you can do so much more for them outside of that role. I think it would be, and I think he's absolutely right. But I really, really appreciated it. And obviously, Kelly said the same thing. Not obviously, but Kelly, yeah, they both obviously, yeah, both wonderful people, wonderful friends. Love them both. But yeah, I was pretty bummed initially, but it's just like, I do think, much like the idea that I would never ever apply for a job as sculpting for GW, and people were often very surprised by that. And I was like, I would not make a single thing that I loved. I would make things that only would make me hate what I love. That's why I would never do that. But I think not being directly having to do something set in stone, but having the ability to make what I want to make, I think that is much more what I want to do, and much more something that I think would be better for everybody. So, but yeah, I'm really excited about that. So I've been thinking lots and lots and lots and lots of things. So many little thoughts. It is 9:26. I think we are going to swap out the camera lens again, and we're going to try to talk about this old girdling. Big old lens, keep on turning. I'm gonna have to clean that shit. I've been neglecting my cleaning duties. I had to get a good amount of dust off the old camera, which was a little depressing this morning. I was like, man, come on, Eli. Come on, bud. Come on now, bud. Beep, boop, pop. And we're probably going to take this thing off, and I'm going to have to, like, hold it, and we'll walk around. Because Godling is big. It's the Godling time. Boop-a-doop-a-doop, boop, boop, boop. Godling. We'll go ahead and we'll clear some space. We'll go there. And then we'll plug her in. Got to get the Godling plugged in. And then I'm probably going to have a step off. There we go. Step off to the side. There's a little bit of hair on here. Jesus Christ, that's so fucking sick. It's been a bit. I have not opened this since we got back, and there are a couple things that I still want to fix, but I am happy overall. So yeah, I'll get this disconnected, and we'll walk around kind of. I think that's going to be the best. And then I'll put myself in the little corner a little bit further. Actually, maybe down here. Do we like me in this corner better? Maybe. We'll figure it out. Okay. Just going to step over here right quick. Theodore. Okay, let's do the dang thing. I'm gonna have to figure out how to Sorry guys. We'll do this differently. Not trying to make anyone seasick. Not trying, but I might. There we go. Okay, I got it. Yeah, there's really no need to take that off, so I won't. Okay. Give me these cables. So this is Godling. It's pretty big. Here's my hand for scale. Here's me for scale. So let's turn off the lights and watch Godling glow. So pretty much the story that we're doing in Godling, I'm going to go ahead and let me turn off those lights. That way you guys can see everything the way it kind of was presented in the dark. All right, that's Godling. So in the dark of Selva, I think it was very, very good. The story of Godling starts down here. I'm very pleased with the resin pour. Let's see. Yeah, the resin pour is sick. So essentially, and I'll shine a little light into there so you can see a little bit better. Let me find my phone. I had to do this in 2 pours to achieve this, but it did what I wanted. You can see there's some dust on there from being up. But the gore, I wanted to make sure that it was separated, kind of like how, you know, in science class you got little different things of oil. I wanted it to be clear that this is not just one consistency, it's a whole bunch of different consistencies. There we go. That's better. Yeah, with the light on there, you can kind of see a little bit of a blur from some of the stuff that's in there floating, but you can trace the roots into there and see it feeding down in there through the clear resin. And then underneath, you see, yeah, essentially just underneath of there you can see the, I'm gonna have to adjust this, sorry guys. Yeah, so essentially that's just underneath where all of the tubes collect and disperse all the gore that's coming down. You can see the grating is broken from the sheer weight of the amount of gore that pours out of the grinder, which is right there. This is where it's dispensed. I did want to add some more drippy things, but I did not have the time to do that. 2 months to get all this done turns out an insane amount. Again, with the lighting, I think it really makes this great. just a pitch black hole when I don't have my hand in there drawing it out. So these are the birthing cradles. This is where life begins in the wonderful domain of Togrim. Let's see. One second. Okay. So yeah, this is where the wonderful world of Togrim's life begins. These are what gives birth to pupas. This is a pupa, a newborn, ready to go on and see the wonderful world that's before them. And the first thing that they get to see is this giant blood grinder. There we go. Trying to get the right amount of zoom. So these were all scratch built using epoxy sculpt and kneaditite, as well as bones recovered from an owl pellet. So that is a lot of these really organic shapes. Let me see if I can get any closer. Yeah, there we go. That's good. Yeah, a lot of the really organic shapes, those are from owl pellet bones. They are real bone that I used to sculpt these little guys. And then, of course, they're covered in uhu. And so sick. This is how close I wanted to get Godling, but I thought sticking my whole head into the piece would be rude to the other patrons. Not really. Oh, well, thank you so much. And I wanted it. I wanted people to get in there so bad. That's the entire point of this piece, was the more you look into it, I just wanted you to feel crushed. So crushed. It is absolutely just it's the meat grinder. You know, I wanted it to resonate with the common man. But so that cradle, you know, it has all of this growth. Essentially, this is like a giant propagation system. As these little critters move around through the labyrinth, they find, you know, likely awful ends, and their DNA gets splattered everywhere, and is then, you know, makes its way through the system down into the spray where it goes everywhere. Obviously, the more developed cradles develop flowering, kind of like almost like lungs, roots, big root groups, bush-like growths to collect that. This one, not so much. Pretty much, this is not getting the nutrients that it needs. There's no veins whatsoever, which is where a tallowed pupa. A tallowed pupa is, and all of this is based on when I was coming up with the actual defining these horrible little things that live in this world. I knew that I wanted them to be very much influenced by larvae, specifically cicadas, as I love them. So there's a lot of cicada references in their anatomy. Exoskeletons, again, I commented on that I think I talk about it in the interview, but if not, it's something I've said elsewhere, where it's just they needed to be something that Togrim could smash and would have a nice, good little crunch. So, of course, an exoskeleton is needed because it's all about smashing the beetles. So, oh, and also, not really, thank you so much for coming. No, I was so excited to see so many people there. I really wanted everyone to get a chance to dig in and look around. And I'll turn the lights on and we'll get some more detail shots here in just a second. But yeah, so that is the lighting. The lighting here, how I did that, there are 10 different spotlights throughout this piece. One is up here, shining the light down onto there, and there's another one over there in the back, up in the top. That's the one shining this. The one in the front is shining that. Again, that's not blood. That is dye that has gotten on this, and it's never going to come off. So yeah, the way that I did that is they are all white, as in like, I think just clear white light. All of the lights that are in here, though, have had their tone changed by either painting a clear Tamiya color over the lens. In this case, it was orange for most of them. This, though, is a different situation because I needed it to look like there was a bigger light than there physically is. These lights, as you can see from up there, they're quite small. But that's a pretty big chunk. And there's my hand for, you know, scale, but the lights are that big. So because they're so directional, we need to be able to, you know, reflect that light. So the light is actually facing the opposite direction. There is red styrene, clear red styrene that I put around holes. And then the very back is essentially a pure white piece of yard sale sign. So there is a white light blasting, super bright white light onto a pure white background that's reflecting it much brighter to these red clear panels. So that is how that works. And again, this is just one of the many things that I had to figure out all while trying to put it together. The next light section is up in between the floors, and that is where the actual meat grinder is. I wanted to make sure that when you peeked in, you could see enough to make you realize, oh God, this is a giant fucking meat grinder that's stirring it up. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. There's not much light in the back part, just a little bit peeking in. But yeah, all of that is finished. All that gore. Then we get to the labyrinth, which is my favorite part. The labyrinth, I love labyrinths. Everyone who knows me knows that. I love a good maze. So these were very much, obviously a big inspiration was Silent Hill, but not from I want to make Silent Hill, but more of that's what that would look like if you had a giant cage made out of essentially chain link fences that had a giant meat grinder in it in the middle. And there's a couple spots, I'm going to fix those. A couple spots where light is still coming through. Again, this is the same concept. The tube, that is one big piece of plastic that actually, the majority of this came from a tower fan. That is the central part of a tower fan that rotates inside. I took that, hollowed it out, pretty much then made a cone, again using that clear red styrene from that light. I made a cone cylinder and stuck it down in there, and then filled that with tissue paper because again, I just have the spotlights. So the tissue paper absorbs all that light, and it's white tissue paper. So again, we have much more color output than I would have been able to by just painting the light red. One of the lights is here in this corner. It just kind of is there to kind of cast shadows, but also to let you see a little bit in there. Then we come around here and you see the tallow pupa. The tallow pupa, he's not having a good time. Unfortunately, and you can kind of tell, this one, the actual colors on the pupa, he's almost entirely pale. There's a lot of gore. That's because he's lost his arm. And I wanted it to be a conclusive story. So essentially, if you come down here and you look at this cradle that does not have any growth, you can actually go across and you can see that cradle, this is where he lost his arm. Lost his arm reaching into here in hopes of finding a boon or something to help him on his journeys. Again, they're just kind of burnt into this. They don't know anything going on. You're just working it out. So pretty much loses his arm, stumbles off, finds another way up, makes it into the labyrinth, and is still struggling. Maybe one of these other cradles has something that, might help. But I don't think I'd stick my only arm in that. And then we move up to the second floor of the labyrinth. I wanted to make sure that I did not have too many lights. So the light in the back is, again, same concept. We're using the red styrene, the white paper to reflect light. And then I wanted there to be a very brutal looking scene in the very center of the labyrinth. So I wanted to have a clearly a larva that is further into the stage of becoming the next form, which I refer to as a chrysalid. That is where you can start to see they are getting more of this metallic looking matter kind of growing out of them as their body becomes more exoskeleton-esque. That is, you know, something that you can see on the pupa. There is glint and whatnot from the minerals in there, whereas the telepupa does not have any. I wanted it to be very clear that this is like further down the line of life. And then this is actually an aberration as well. This would be a pupa that does not leave. They do not leave the labyrinth. They do not seek to go up and play in the actual hell. They're going to just hang out here. So they have still kept most of some of the traits, like the large little fluffy parts of their legs. They're still there. Very similar to like an axolotl, the gills. As well as they do not have any of the metallic, the deep metal. It's more of that they have adapted to just stay in their pupal form, slick, vicious, berserk, blood crazed. And then the final floor of the labyrinth before the exit is where I wanted to show the last form of a chrysalid right before they pretty much come into their adult form, the imago. Again, these are references to, you know, insects and how they develop. I wanted it to look like he had very clearly just thrown someone into a meat grinder, and in doing so also lost his arm, which is why he is bleeding out. This is again my very first time working. Well, it was the very first time working with resin. I'd never done a resin pour. I'd never done resin pour. I'd never done casting. But this was my first time working with Uhu glue. My usual blood style did not match with the Uhu, so I had to figure out how to make that merge so that it seemed more cohesive. Let's see if I can. Trying to get a look at his little face. There we go. Yeah. So he is very gory, but much more of the metallic kind of buildup on his body. So I wanted to be clear that he has been in the labyrinth for much longer. We'll get a better look at this when we turn the light on. But I just wanted to show it with the lights in the dark. But yeah, so originally before this went on a plane with me, gore was splattered from here to there, so it was very clear that he had just thrown it in and it had thrown this body in this direction, splattering its pieces all around here. And then one of the key parts, and one that I was most excited about, was I wanted, once you got in here to try to look closer, I wanted this to be what greeted you, which, let's see if I can, yeah, so this is a nightmarish wall behind them where parts of the godling Togrim are actually like there. And I wanted it to be very, I need to shine the light on this so you guys can see. So when you peek in, there is a part of an old camera, a lens right there. So when you would peek in here, you will see that lens, and light will kind of pick up and draw your eyes up there, and you realize, oh shit, this is like a sentient, awful nightmare machine with lots of cables coming out. And again, I think one of the biggest pieces of work for this was just the cable work. I mean, there are thousands of cables, all hand ran. But then yeah, here's the other, and these are my very first casts. As you know, normal, like all people, I have a pretty nice little dental cast collection, and I thought, hey, I should use some of those. These are my two favorites. They have some very, very frightening teeth, that the way that they connect. Specifically up there is the ones that I'm talking about. There, lots of extra teeth in certain spots. But yeah, and then again, I think the light definitely made the doorway reflect more than I wanted it to. Eventually I would like to fix that. But yeah, let's turn on the lights and we'll get a better look. And then we'll probably wrap up because I'm parched, my sweets. Okay. So, here it is with the lights on. Down in the vents. And eventually I cannot stress enough, yes, we will have some really sick pictures, like hyper detail. But I've got to get some other stuff done first. But no, I have every intention of having this photographed to the same level of my 1490 stuff that I've already shown. So yeah, another thing that I wanted to make it very clear. This mace, again, all made with bone. There we go. There it is. So this bone, I wanted to talk about that real quick because I wanted to make sure that it was very clear from a design language standpoint. This bone, you can kind of see the little metallic sheen on there, that he is holding, that handle is the same bone that you will find in the arms of pupas. So I wanted it to be very clear that, you know, once they shove their hand in there, any benefit or weapon or any boon that you get from reaching into that black hole, I wanted it to be very clear where those things come from. They are made from them. There we go. Now we can get a little bit closer up on this little guy's face. He says, take a picture of me in the daylight, not the dark. Yeah, there's his little face. Very, very cicada-esque. Very much influenced by cicadas. I love them. They are my children who live outside. Yeah, I think the textures, yeah, okay, you can see. They're sick. They're sick as hell. But yeah, again, the metallic green, I wanted that to be something that was clearly shown the more they develop. Like this one. This one has quite a bit of metallic, that exoskeleton showing, whereas this one has none. Nor does this pupa. So, yeah. I'm sure there's all kinds of things I could talk about about how I built it, all kinds of stuff like that. And I'd love to answer any questions. But yeah, it's other than, I can show you, hey, you're wondering what is not scratch built? What did Eli not make? I didn't make these. These are the like 10 little model kit parts. I'm just like, oh yeah, and like 10 model kit parts. Like I want to make, yeah, I didn't, you wouldn't know, but yeah, it's those. They're just like the tops of like a couple of radiators, I think. I don't know shit about cars, which is part of the great reason of, or part of having a bunch of car parts is I don't know what they actually do. I just have shapes. But I'm pretty sure those are like either gasket or there's some kind of cover underneath of a hood. What was your game, Eli? So I did not have a game. Like this, it didn't have any rules. It was just an awful thing that when you came up to it, you read about pretty much what I posted on my Instagram story with it was the information that it was given. Pretty much look upon what my children have made of this wretched inheritance. Now, while working on this, I've thought of all kinds of things for games. I reached out to, Viewer Games and talked to them a little bit. And we haven't gone anywhere with that, but I might end up moving forward with that later, as far as the game that kind of came to me about this. But while working on this, I obviously spent a lot of time thinking. And I think I really do, on the list of things to do, I really want to make a board game. There's one. Hi, Princess. There she is. It's Jumbo time. Holy shit, it's been so fucking long. It's Jumbo. Man, I love rubbing my face on stuff. Your lore is as good as your designs. I'm not a rules writer, but I could offer ideas if needed. Oh, absolutely. No, I'd love that. And thank you so much. The the story or the game that I was like, man, if I was going to make a game, the very first one that I would want to make is the first one that I've already kind of made with rules. I want to refine them and that kind of stuff, but and I've came up with a name, but it's all in the same universe. So I really, the more, God, I've got that fucking dye all over my hands. Looks like I cut my hand real bad. But yeah, I really like the idea of using this, of making a book, of making a product, of making a game that literally everything that you see is physically made, and it's a photograph as far as like the edgings. Like the more and more I worked on Godling, the more I thought this is what I want. When you open the book, I want this to be the sides, like the border. I want it to be the cabling and whatnot that is so very prevalent in my work. I don't know. The more I've thought about that, the more I think that that's a very good idea. And I had the the fortune and the good time of talking with Matt, totally not panicking, shooting forth ideas and just being like, okay, am I right thinking this is the next thing? He's like, yeah, it's exactly the next thing you do. And it's just like, okay, cool, thanks, Matt. Matt's wonderful, absolute treasure. Love totally not panicking. But yeah, so I've got a lot of ideas of how to move forward and to try and get everything actually going. We have the new logo. I need to update it on here. I haven't done anything with YouTube in so long. But over on the fourth wall, we do have, we finally have the hoodie and the t-shirt design up with the new logo from Johnny Lashley at Witchhammer Studios. It's wonderful. It is absolutely perfect. He really knocked it out of the park. I'm sure you've seen it. Let me open it up real quick though. I'll just show it again for anyone who has not seen it yet. But this is the new logo that Johnny did for me. And I will get it updated on here and whatnot. But yeah, we've got, I'm very, very happy with it. And you can't see it for shit. There we go. Bad picture on my phone. There we go. The Grimdark Distillery. Yeah, that looks terrible, Eli. Come on. I'm fucking this up real bad. I don't have a physical one myself, so yeah, I need to get a shirt. But yeah, it's a cat. It's me, a little skeleton with cat ears, in a tube being distilled. I'm fucking that up. I'm sorry. I'm kind of tired. It's been months since I've had to do this. Not had to do it, gotten to do this. I love doing it. But no, I think, oh fuck boy. If you got spare dosh, I got clothes with little kitties on them. Not little kitties, me-sized kitties. I hate that I can't show you that picture on here. Let me see. Let me readjust this. Do the thing. Come on, camera. There we go. There we go. I did it. I figured out how to use the camera. I didn't draw this. My friend Johnny did. I just said, hey, this is what I want. And he was like, you mean like this? And I was like, exactly. It's me as a Nightmare Kitty priest, and I'm getting distilled, baby. But yeah, I love it. He did a great job. We've got a couple people rocking those now, so I'm excited. I got to get one more shelf. But no, the prints, the fit and print turned out good. I'm really happy with them. I will update the fourth wall with like the new images and stuff, but pretty much I've just been trying to do commissions, which are open. If anyone is interested in something, I'm not just doing, I didn't even show the silly things I made. I'm going to show the silly things I made, and then I am going to go. My mom and sister have been calling me and texting me and wishing me the birthdays, happiness, and I don't want them to think I'm dead, because that's sometimes where it jumps. Yeah, it just does. Yeah, I'll show these things. I put them on Instagram, but I have not shown them on here. And I'll grab the kitty. Everybody likes a kitty. No, I dropped the kitty. I'm so sorry. Oh, fuck, boy. Get that dosh. So, this is Archibald. One of the things that I've been wanting to do is expand into just regular art, and making art sculptures that people who might not be interested in gaming but still love my work would want to have. That actually would be a nice little, like, oh hey, put that on your shelf, it's a little sculpture, support art. This is Archibald. He is a very large snail with a silly mustache and a beard, and I need to paint him, but I'm really happy with him so far. This one is going to be for my wonderful wife. But I wanted to, I know, where even are you? You're down here. Hi, Margot. I know I said I was almost done. But yeah, this, I kind of wanted to just showcase the weird, whimsical kind of stuff that I do as well. And then this is Le Goof. He's very silly. Pretty much just a little fluffy goofball that I made. And again, the idea is I'm going to paint these and just kind of have them for sale locally. But then eventually I'm going to start making other little small, silly little sculptures and selling them as well. But after working on Godling for 2 months, I needed something fun and like lighthearted. So that's where these little goofballs came from. And then the last thing was the kitty. Started work on the kitty. I got to finish his teeth, as you can still see, but I've been putting hair on him. He's going to look pretty awful, but the hair's there. It's in place. Also, he did not have much of a butt, so I gave him a little butt. Eventually this will be done. Smile. It's going to be creepy. Creepy little kitty. But yeah, just a bunch of weird little sculpts that I thought I could try to make that showcase my work. And also, more than anything, are made from trash. That's a key part of my art. I think it's really important to not cover our entire planet in trash. So anything that we can get out and turn it into art and turn it into something, reimagine it, I think is very important. But yeah, that I think about catches us up. I'm sure I left out a whole lot of things. I know I didn't even get to talk about all the funny things I said with TSA. That was fun. I got flagged. You guys called it. I got the special pat down. Always get the special pat down. But yeah, we can talk about that later. I know, I'm working on it, honey. Damn, Marco is just, she's ready for me to go. I'm sorry. But yeah, we got to go get some stuffs done. I'm not going to be back tomorrow. It'll either be Wednesday or Thursday. I'm probably thinking Thursday though. I think Mondays and Thursdays seem like good days. It seems like a good little space. Yeah, carrying a bomb case. Oh yeah. Yeah. And that wasn't even like the case. The case wasn't even like the biggest thing. It's just, I get, no matter what, I get the special pat down. Margot, honey, girl, you're crazy. And also you've got my thread wrapped around your tail and you're unspooling it. What are you doing? You're crazy. Okay. Pick me up so I can say hi to my fans. It's my stream. It's been months. All right, here she is. The mastermind behind it all. Jumbo Money. Yeah. Okay. On that note, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I'm going to go do some stuff before I just keep yapping in circles. I'm going to finish this commission. But yeah, thank you guys so much for your time. I say it every time. I'm always going to say it. It's the most valuable thing that you have. It is finite. If you enjoy spending any of it at all with me, that means the world to me. It really does. Until next time, be good to yourselves and each other. Take care, sit pretty, always be proud of who you are. Yeah, no, it's very cat clearly distressed. How dare you not provide all your attention? Thank you guys so much. Until next time. I'm thinking Thursday. I think it'll be Thursday. Yeah. Take care, guys. Thanks again.